Orianna, 69 CS, 3 kills. And she's had blue buff for just pretty much almost 100% of the laning phase. So, as strong as Gragas may be theoretically against Orianna, once you develop a lead like, you know, their itemizations may look very similar, but, you know, she has had the buff in lane, and that's what makes or breaks a mid lane is, do you have access to blue buff?
Blue buff is definitely a big part. It gives you the harassing advantage, the lane shoving advantage. Just gives you the sustainability you need.
And, you know, for some champions, it gives you the, like, ooh, excellent ult from Gragas, pushes Orianna right into Wukong, and with Wukong standing right between her and the tower with his ult up, she really had nowhere to go. Forcing the flash to the wrong side of the forest, she really didn't have many options there.
That was a very good cast from
yeah, it was.
Yu.
He threw it up pretty early.
Yeah.
I think if Orianna had flashed, it might have actually still pushed her back.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
actually, because it was
far
so
away.
deep.
Yeah.
It was so deep.
It was like the edge of the range, pretty much.
Well spaced.
Oh my god.
Man, just Jax. The blade of the cutlass is gonna do the most work. Because not only is it gonna give him the advantage to sustain in lane that Shyvana doesn't have, but also it gives him access to the slow. So,
which is really essential for him.
Really essential. It's going to turn an advantageous trade into a kill. If he's like, oh, you know, I traded, but hey, she's at 30%, I could just kill her. Then you turn on the cutlass and you just kill Shyvana. Forever Twisted is 7, so she does have Dragon Form. And this is actually kind of rare. You know, I've never seen Forever Twisted quite have such a rough time in the top lane.
Look at that tower dive.
And it looks like he's just going to turn right back around. Yep, there we go. Xiaolan escaping with just so many kills. And CS, he's already shoved the tower up. It's going to be very difficult for Forever Twisted to remain relevant in this game. Shyvana needs that farm. She needs those items. I'm sure he was confident in his versus Jax pick. Shyvana has the potential in the top lane. But Jax is one of those champions that he can walk into a bad matchup and say, hey, I can still play this.
Yeah.
I've seen those Renekton's die. It's possible.
The Super Hot Crew started out with not such a great level 1. I mean, they gave Orianna 3-0 and double buffs.
Yes, and double buffs.
Gragas has ended up at 87 CS, not too far behind, and is now 2-1. On top of that, the Jax is 3-0 now.
Yes, it is.
So,
one point I want to bring up, Drezu is having a tough game. 0-2-0. Every game proves... Oh, there's a great hook on Katarina. Shorter Ace following up with an excellent Wukong. All Shut Your Mouth is going to fall very quickly. Drezu just isn't quite there in time to... I mean, even if he had come in earlier, what were you supposed to do? How do you counter-engage on Wukong? Oh, with the Ignite.
Oh, he missed an
well
auto
played.
attack.
Well played. And, oh, this is going to be tough.
Just action everywhere right now.
And the last auto attack actually does pick up the kill on Orianna.
Orianna is
However,
now
and
losing.
Vix manages to lead the assault on the bot tower. First tower of the game does fall. Shorter Ace looking to make more Wukong plays.
All tournament long, Super Hot Crew has been utilizing Thix to do flash initiations, and it's failed sometimes. But how many times have we seen him do flash tibbers, flash thresh hooks, just all these initiates, and he's not scared to throw them out, and he lands them a good % of the time,
Yes,
and that
he does.
guarantees really big plays.
He's proven that you can depend on him more often than you can doubt him.
Yeah.
It's really saying, hey guys, I got this, trust me. If it doesn't work out, it's unfortunate, but it's not going to happen a huge amount of the time.
And you know, the interesting thing is in the first game of the day, Thix was really the one that was getting caught out a lot.
He was. We
position.
saw that really rough game where, you know, they didn't have quite the ward coverage to protect Annie as she was trying to clear out those pink wards. You know, it's such a slow auto attack that it just takes her forever and a half to kill a pink ward. And that's the reason he was caught a lot of the times. But, you know, they started warding a lot more, saying, hey, let's protect Thix. We can't just abandon our poor support. We have to support him, too. Oops, spell immunes, and there's the combo. And that's like we were talking about earlier. that you can still follow up
Right.
Death Sentence because they're separate spells. Technically.
Oh, the flash
Another
initiate.
great ult from Wukong. Drezu is just
Oh
getting
my god.
the short end of the stick here. Wukong is
Oh, the hook lands! And
Excellent
Thix
for
with the
Thix.
godlike thresh.
very well timed. Just
Here comes the tower dive
well
by
done.
Wukong.
Well done on the
One
Flay,
more
well done
kill
on the
onto
Death Sentence.
Shorter Ace.
And for Ace picking up another kill, this might be a bracket reset.
This
It's looking like a bracket
this
reset.
is just rolling and rolling out of
rolling
control.
and rolling into control. Jax is, you know, Forever Twisted actually picked up the kill. Let's never doubt Shyvana's dueling capability, especially when Burnout's up.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe just how many people ignore the Burnout and they just don't realize how much AP damage is being thrown to the floor. Especially, a lot of times Jax players tend to come under the mindset, oh, the parry's up, I'm fine. Nope. The Burnout's the true menace of that top
Who got
lane.
that buff?
Jax wanting to finish off this tower. He is dropping a little low. And with the ult in here, does
I think
he
he's gonna
have-
win this trade.
He is. You know,
Oh my god, that was so close.
that was pretty scary. And gonna lifesteal back up and continue his assault on the tower now that Shyvana doesn't have her ult. It's just so low. He's gonna take this creep wave into the tower. And that's gonna be 2 towers now. Sorry, 4 towers. My bad.
Oh my god.
Another great Wukong ult.
Here comes the cast.
Oh, there we go. That's really what.
Oh, he already
Oh,
used the
Orianna with the E.
cast. Oh, and that's a...
That's what they needed. They really, that was
Yeah.
really well done.
They really needed that
actually shut
shutdown.
down Wukong. And, you know, part of it was I think that Wukong jumped into a situation where he wanted to secure a quick kill and then kind of back off. But unfortunately, you know, the lanes proved to be a bit more resilient than he was expecting. The kill wasn't secured immediately.
Right,
The
survive was
reinforcements,
just a sliver of
yeah,
health.
the reinforcements came soon enough and managed to
that's a
close out
mess.
that engagement.
Yeah. Really close initiation. Nearly got another double kill.
Both mids finishing their Chalice and grabbing their Needless. You know, Jax is, you know, he's working on the Triforce. He's finished Blade of the Ruin King. As low as Shyvana's CS is, it's still there. She still has CS, and that can never be really ignored. Jax may have a ton, and he may be hitting his carry threshold very quickly, and that's going to be undeniably scary, but Shyvana cannot be simply ignored. She can walk into any other lane and still hold her own.
Thresh from the back, on the hunt by Sivir. Now
Oh,
Wukong
and that
in the middle
before
of the
they
fight,
do
and there's
manage
his
to
ult
catch,
pop.
and both
And
with
a
the
double kill
triple
on the Gragas.
ults onto Shyvana. You know, we've got Exploding Cast, plus the box, plus Wukong's ult. There was a lot of resources spent, but they did secure the kill on Shyvana. Looks like they're going to take this pencil into a split push.
And right now, Super
Tackle
Haku is
both
just
mid and top.
walking wherever they want. Just taking down towers, making kills. They couldn't even wait for the creep.
They don't even care. They've got Thresh. The AoE shield to be enough to split tank this. Sivir's here, so you know they've got the pushing control.
Oh my god.
Poor everyone who fights Xiaolan. I will cry for them. I cry for them. However, it looks like that he doesn't quite have the MR to back up. You know, he's winning those physical fights, but like I said earlier, the Burnout and even just Orianna, that's some damage. He's gonna want his soul, his Spirit Visage quickly. Even that just being an indicator of how scary, and they have a lot of AP damage. I mean, let's not forget that Shando's minions, Morgana does a decent amount of AP damage.
Yeah.
You know, she's not somebody who can be discounted when it comes to factoring in damage contribution. There's always Orianna. Burnout, more Burnout, Burnout.
More burnout. And, I mean, how many times have we seen that Morgana will just change the tide of a team fight in
Right,
this tournament
and
alone?
you know, so often it's like, you know, it's not even, oh, Morgana's waiting in a bush to secure her ult. It's Morgana is walking into their team because she's not a priority target. You can't just say, hey, let's ignore Jax and kill Morgana instead. So she's just free. She's given that liberty by the threat of Jax, the threat of Orianna. You know, she can just do whatever. She can just walk right up and ult.
Right now, there are no more outer turrets left for Shandor's minions. I wonder if they're going to try to push tier 3 or look for other objectives. I mean, they already took their neutral buffs, so the game plan is a little unclear here.
Both Sivir and Caitlyn aren't really where they'd like to be at this point in the game. It was rough and stormy seas in bot lane. We've got a lot of ganks going on, a lot of action, visitations from both bot lanes and both junglers. So they're not quite as ahead as they would imagine themselves being as an AD carry, but they are on even footing, more or less.
Yeah.
Sivir does have the zeal, but the effective power of, you know, Berserker Greaves will equate it out for now.
Right.
And do you want to take the Lantern? Maybe get some damage in.
Oh, he wants to
Lantern
kill
expires.
Shyvana.
Actually, this might be a kill for...
Oh, a nice
and
flash out.
Thresh sacrifices himself to save Jax.
Meanwhile, in the bot lane, a great cast who's going to pick off Morgana there. Sivir for the killing
They
blow.
are so prominent in Shandor's minions' base. They've just been constantly weaving in and out of the base. We're just completely ignoring the towers to
Jax
provide.
didn't even go back.
He doesn't even care. He's like, I'll lifesteal this back by the time they rotate back to defend against me. Dragon up in 50 seconds.
And because they've just been shoving out
And it's
these
still
lanes,
only 20 minutes. Still only 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're at 40,000 gold for Super Hot Crew.
they're really farming up every aspect of the map right now. There's not very much space for Shandor's minions to operate.
Wukong, so many good engages throughout the early game.
Oh, yeah.
We saw a lot of really great calls in terms of engaging in mid. Gragas got those really clean ults that Orianna deserves to be afraid of. Oh, Jax. Oh my gosh. There's a lot. There's a lot, but the disengage might prove fatal. And there's the stun. Okay.
Wow.
Jax does fall a bit too ambitious in his ventures.
And I think they're trying to move in for a ambush here when they're going to fake Baron, actually.
That may very well be possible. I'm interested at Shyvana rushing the Randuins, just so dedicated. Randuins first, no matter what. And it's pretty self-explanatory. She had a rough time against Jax, needs the defense. Her team doesn't have a different... They have Vi as well, so if she can be there to complement Vi in their aggressive front line, that's really what they need right now. Orianna forced to flash out to disengage. This team fight being split up into a couple different directions.
If they do manage to take out that Vi, they might go for the Baron.
Oh, Vi does manage to slip out. She really needs to back and heal and be ready for whatever happens next as a result of whatever engagement follows up.
And that was a great spell shield by Kimura to stop the Vi ultimate, actually. And, that's going to give... Oh, Vi's going to back here.
Did you see what happened? Were our suspicions correct? Did she just hit them and then nothing happens?
Yeah, she dashes up to them, but he doesn't take damage. It doesn't get carried up.
Right, okay. But she still gets the movement.
Wow, the old Baron and Dragon at the same time strategy.
Can't contest both of these.
They're going to get that Baron free.
You know, they are a little low. I'd like to imagine they would back up pretty soon here. And you know, we did a lot of time talking about Wukong and Jax, you know, really playing well. Gragas also did really well in his lane, considering what he was facing.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
It may be considered a bad matchup for Orianna, you know, pretty much even her worst. But double buffs, 3-0 level, like what, level 2?
Yeah. Yeah, it was really bad. She
going
got
back and buying the double Doran's ring and the chalice. I mean, oh my gosh.
Really, really tough matchup.
A huge obstacle. Yui did really well in fending that off and stopping Orianna from snowballing off of that early game advantage. She got a couple kills on her with support from Wukong. And, you know, Shorter Ace was correct in making those plays, saying, hey, gotta stop this. Stop it while it's young.
Yep.
Let's nip this in the bud and take care of Orianna before she gets enough M-Pen and AP to make our lives miserable for, you know,
the rest of the game.
More melee-oriented tanks.
Yeah. The old 1v2. He wants it.
He has the Baron buff, but I don't think he's going to 1v2 versus Orianna. Unless he specifically manages to target and blow her up very quickly, she's got some damage on her. And he doesn't have any MR, besides the Merc Treads. But, you know, without finishing the Spirit Visage, it's going to be very tough for him to dive on a counter-sieging champion like Orianna.
Takes a few turret hits, but continues to push that
Wukong
bot
getting
down.
in there, getting a few auto attacks on the tower. Gragas going deep. He does get snared, and Vi follows up with an ult. They are going to secure the kill on Gragas, but Vi does fall. Wukong picking up the kill. Sivir focusing the turret does manage to down it, and they are going to be able to get the inhibitor as well following that team engagement. Oh, Wukong securing the fates of both Orianna and
That
Caitlyn.
has to be like his 5th double kill this game.
Yeah, the very strong ultimate. The reason Wukong is picked on top of his other strengths is really quite overbearing.
Yeah, it almost seemed like they were going for the game end there, but
You have to remember that it's not that late.
yeah,
It's you know a lot of Shando's minions is level 12, level 13, level 12.
they're gonna get the second
The
inhibitor.
level advantage of being level 16 versus a level 2. I mean, man, having access to a level rank 3 ultimate, the stats that are provided, 5 levels worth of stats is nothing to shake your head at. I mean, imagine being level 1 and fighting a level 6.
That would
Suck. That would just not be
Yeah.
cool. It's the same difference of a level 11 fighting a level 17,
Yeah,
a level 16. Very tough.
They're far ahead in EXP, far
So we've
ahead
got
in gold now.
Yeah, 9 kill lead, and an 18 grand gold lead.
Baron buff, all
Baron
the
buff.
objectives, all the buffs.
I think the most telling indicator is the 9-0 tower count.
Yeah.
Because towers, I think, more than anything, represent the progress bar, you know, of match 1. And let's make no mistake. Oh, actually, a very quick kill on Vi there. And the box actually does manage to slow Shyvana even after she flashes out. And Sivir clearing off that wave. This bot inhibitor is in trouble. They really need Orianna to show up. But with Jax and Wukong coming in from the side, this is just looking really bad for Shandor's minions. Might be time to consult the drawing board and see what they have to offer after the bracket reset coming in the grand finals.
Working on the Nexus now, and that's gonna... Alright, well, they're gonna troll.
Walk around for a bit.
Bracket reset.
That was really... see, now it's a completely different ballgame.
Yep.
It is completely different because they not only were on their last life, but things were looking really bad at the start there.
Oh, yeah.
Things were looking really bad at the start there. So that they had the determination to stick it out, to fight that scary Orianna in the mid lane, that Xiaolan just totally dominated top lane. Wow, basically a whole game's worth of outplaying by himself.
Yeah.
Especially with
like
the
17 CS to 50 something.
53, something like that. It's just such a massive lead. It's so early in the game. I mean, usually Jax, you know, is considered to be like more of a snowball, more of a late game. But I mean, I guess when you hit late game at level 6, it's a completely different story.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not a fair matchup up in the top lane.
And that kind of surprised me because to my understanding, Shyvana doesn't have a huge problem against Jax. You know, at worst, even.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we are ready. Go. Okay. Yes, Shyvana doesn't have... It's pretty rare for Shyvana to see like a matchup that isn't going to go at least okay for her. But, you know, recently we saw from the LCS statistics that Shyvana's win rate as of late has dropped. You know, it's plummeted. Compared to like season start, Shyvana was the acclaimed god. She could jungle, she could top. It was really when people started seeing her top a bit more. It's just so strong, and she got a few like really little tweaks, and that's really all they were tweaks. But it took her power down enough that she's no longer just so heavy in lane. She doesn't slug, just she doesn't have the fists of a heavyweight anymore.
Yeah.
They're appropriate for a skinny girl with little dragon fists. Yeah.
And then the twin fists.
And the twin fists.
Yeah.
He got Yasuo.
The Yasuo jungle.
Oh, the Yorick. Are they gonna do it? We've heard
Legend.
the voices of the dark
be
clamoring for Yorick jungle, but it is the Elise pick, and which seems to actually be his strongest pick so far. It's really the one that he has seen the most success with. I mean, sorry, I take that back. The Wukong game was crazy.
Yeah,
it was really good. Wukong.
Really big domination. But that's the only time he played Wukong in his tournament. Most of the other times he was playing Lee Sin or Elise.
Now Drezu is sticking to his guns, Vi all the way. It might be that Wukong is a difficult champion to contest in terms of like counter engaging or meeting for 2v2s in mid lane. He's hard to see coming with the illusion. He's hard to stop because of the dash. The ult, I mean, she can ult him, but then he's still ulting anyway. It's just a mess. Really difficult to shut Wukong down. He's always going to have something available to him, unless you ult him before his ult goes off, which is kind of hard to ask for.
This feels like we're almost going to watch the same game, except with even more comfort picks on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, Forever Twisted resorting to his inner villain with the Renekton pick in top lane, and that's going to effectively ban Jax.
I'm interested in how Kassadin is open. The first time they played Kassadin, it didn't work out for them.
They could bring Kassadin top. Maybe not the best pick against Renekton, but he does work in that lane.
Yeah.
Other answers to Renekton, Olaf. I've seen. I mean, Forever Twisted took Olaf against Renekton and dominated. Dominated the UW Black team in top lane. He said, hey, Olaf's a problem. You guys need to recognize this and respect my top lane. And it really worked out really well. Olaf, I think he's received some minor retuning since that tournament in November, but he still mechanically has the potential. Are we seeing Satan top?
The old Satan top.
Satan top.
We
were talking about villains earlier when we talked about Renekton, but whoa, Teemo, that's a whole different league.
Teemo,
that's like some Goblin Sappers level stuff.
Goblin Sappers.
I thought they were supposed to nerf the AP scaling on mushrooms.
I
guess they did, but then I walked through a mushroom and I had like 300 MR and it still dropped me down to like half health. I was like, what? Teemo. So actually, Shorter Ace's team picking up the Orianna this time.
And we all know Yuyi's Orianna is already solid.
Already solid.
Lots of comfort picks.
I'm interested at how they're banning beyond the bans. Because Renekton, nobody wants to bring Jax against already picked Renekton in top lane unless you're beyond confident in that matchup. And also by securing the Orianna without the mid being picked, you stop them from picking it as well. So long as you're comfortable in the Orianna, unless Shut Your Mouth secures Bogdaddy, the Gragas, and you're going to see how they do with that little role reversal.
Right. The other option is the Kassadin. I mean,
the other option is the Kassadin. We actually got a bunch of mid laners open. Kassadin could go like Riven. Riven, yeah, I was about to say Riven mid is there.
Riven is a fairly good matchup against Orianna.
She has like a really great level 2, a great everything if you can do it.
Riven mid is all about the all-ins at level 2 and 3.
And, Orianna did pick up the barrier there. The safe pick. It's not going to save her from Ignite. It will, it might buffer some of the damage off and enable to her. Well, I guess the thing is, if she's got barrier up, the more effective health is going to give her more auto attacks. Which is, the more auto attacks she gets off, the scarier it's going to be for Riven to continue trading with her. You know, Riven is really 1, 2, weave in, auto attack, 3, done, I'm out. Whereas Orianna, she wants to get the shockwave off, and she wants to auto attack you as many times as possible, bouncing the ball command while you have the shredded magic resist. So I could see it's always tough being a melee against Orianna due to her inherent strengths of an auto attack that does more than damage.
Yeah, and this is exactly why this mid lane matchup is very all-in focused.
Right.
If Riven tries to sustain in that lane, she will eventually just get poked down.
Especially with the nerfs to Doran Shield. If we had the previous iteration of Doran Shield, we might see that as a viable buy for mid lane. But as of right now, you know, we might be returning to, you know, the Season 3 style. I'm going red pot.
Yeah.
Let's make this happen.
So there's a few options, right? You got the Doran Shield pot opener, which is kind of a nerfed option. The other thing is you can be like, okay, I'm going to be all-in.
Pick up Longsword.
Yeah, I can either pick up Longsword or the Doran's Blade in the pot. And maybe if he's like, okay, I seriously just want to go ham, then he can start that red potion.
Red potion.
Most people opt for the Doran's Blade because red potion is a little bit...
It's a safer bet. You know, it gives them attack damage so that they can at least trade hard.
Yeah.
But it also gives them a little bit of sustain in the event that their lane doesn't end up being quite as difficult as they first thought it might be. Or, I mean, what if at level 2 the enemy jungler shows up? You're not going to be able to all in, and that's really your only opportunity. Yeah. You know, before Orianna gets all 3 of her skills, which is she can run away pretty quick with Shockwave, especially if Riven's slowed. So I'm interested to see if Shorter Ace comes to reinforce Orianna at that really scary time. You know, right after Shorter Ace's first buff, he might want to head mid to preempt Bog Daddy's attempted level 2.
Likewise, for Bog Daddy, the Vi is going to want to help out Riven as soon as
she's going to want to start the snowball rolling.
Because when Riven starts getting kills, that is when
doesn't stop. And it's one of the issues that people have with the champion is that they can say, "Oh man, I beat up Riven really badly in top lane. I'm really disappointed that my team died to Riven." I'm like, well, you got to understand that just because you're ahead of Riven doesn't mean that Riven isn't ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
She's still going to be able to roam mid, pick up a kill. She's still going to be able to invade their jungle, pick up a kill, pick up a buff. And it only takes 1 or 2. It only takes 1 or 2 to get her started.
Once she gets the amount of damage compared to your defensive capabilities where she can start bursting through your health pool, especially when she hits level 6, that's real danger time.
And they did nerf the health regeneration, her passive health regeneration, so she's even going to be more oriented towards winning those hard engages early in the game because it's even less sustained. Took away Doran's, complicate that with the taking away of, you know, I think half of her base HP regeneration.
Yeah.
She's now sitting at like 7 HP 5 passively in lane, where with a Doran's buy she's like 21. So she's at 1/3 of what she was. But to compensate for that, they gave her the buffed shield. So her 1v1 is actually even scarier than it was. So, you know, more bringing the champion in line with that vision, saying, hey, if you're good, you can get this kill. We have some possibilities open to you.
The other interesting thing is they've nerfed the base damage of her Q and increased the scaling. What that ends up meaning is late game the Q will do more damage than previous, but early game it's a little less good at doing the all-ins.
It's kind of they wanted to shift the power of certain aspects of the carry in different directions. So nobody is going to contest that Riven has excellent late game scaling.
Yeah.
You get some AD on there, the shield becomes huge, damage becomes massive. A lot of its area of effect is so good.
All 3 of the Qs AoE, the W is AoE, and then the wind slash is the king of all AoEs.
AoE execute that cleaves and goes through targets, and you can't body block it.
And commonly the Ravens will get the Hydra, so...
All right, guys, we're jumping in here to the first match of Grand Finals following the bracket reset. Shorter Ace has shown that his team has what it takes to defeat even the undefeated team, previously undefeated team of Forever Twisted, leading Shandor's Minions here. However, Shandor's Minions has shown they have the capacity. While they are on purple side this time, switched roles where Shorter Ace and is leading on the blue side.
And the Super Hot crew is doing really well. They've kind of, you know, settled in and really hunkered down and started playing really well after they got sent to the losers in the first